Hey everyone, what's up? It's your boy, Reg Noy, and we all know that I hate doing intros. I'm not good at intros, so let's just get right into it right now. I said yesterday that I was going to be watching Jaden Animations because I believed that she experienced what I have called or dubbed corporate brain rot. I did a 3 hour presentation on it for my debut and spent over 500 hours studying and compiling information for said presentation. So I am currently the world's leading expert on the topic. Now I'm going to give it a couple of minutes for people to let people filter in. So until then, I just like to share the cuteness that is Shondo. I saw a short of her recommended while I was setting up for tonight's stream, so I figured let's watch it together. That is what our Sunday nights are for, after all. Let's go.
Shondo, I'm putting you up for adoption.
Boy, finally someone will show me love.
Okay.
Never even took me in a night. Never even did time.
Shondo deserves
Okay,
love.
Shondo, if I was your adopted parent, I would buy you a cardboard box. Because cats love cardboard boxes.
They do.
It's true.
So do children.
I'm quite partial to a nice cardboard box.
Exactly. And then I will put you in the closet underneath my staircase.
Wait, what?
Because it's nice and cozy and warm and there's a bowl of milk in there.
What when I get hungry?
Well, I'll install a cat door eventually.
Eventually. Okay.
Yeah. Shondo.
Oh, that was cute. That was cute. That was very cute. And Shondo does deserve love, and my baby sister is also very fond of boxes. Actually, my adult sister is also very fond of boxes, so I guess it's just a woman thing. Anyways, we've given everybody plenty of time to show up, and they have still chosen not to, so their loss. I already know this video is great, because as I said, I watched it already. Let's begin. Oh wait, let me pull up... Sorry, one second. I forgot to pull up my corporate brain rot presentation on the streaming window. I had it up on my main. Okay, now, let us begin.
A while ago, I went to the bank to get a new debit card. I walked in, the lady asked, "Can I help you?" And I said, "I'd like a new debit card, please." Her
Been there, done that.
face scrunched a bit, and then she replied, "Let me see what I can do. Would you take a seat for a moment?" I sat in the lobby chair for 30 minutes, assuming that she was doing everything in her power to get me a new debit card.
Not a good
And when
start.
the lady finally came back, she simply said, "No, we don't do that." But you're the bank. For the longest time, I've been tossing around this little thought. I don't know if it's just me, but it kind of feels like the world around us doesn't quite work anymore.
It doesn't, and I actually already am set on the corporate brain rot. Poor, unfortunate Jaden here was succumbed to, or was victim of, and that is number 16, the inability to admit wrongdoing or mistakes. The mistake and wrongdoing being denying her a debit card for no good reason. I mean, she wanted one, she needed one, give her one. I already have to go to the bank to activate my new debit card that they sent me that I don't even fucking want. I don't want the new debit card. I like my debit card. It works. But now I have to make a whole new trip back to the bank to make a new one because it expires next month and I have a fucking week to do it. Is this relevant? No. Am I going to complain? Yes. That is what React streams are for.
At least compared to, say, a decade ago, it seems like everything has gotten less efficient and, dare I say, stupid.
Yes, it has. That's why I made a whole presentation on it.
Time I go out to get something done, I come back 3 hours later with nothing accomplished and a fresh desire to punch a wall. I've tried to gaslight myself out.
I've actually have put holes in walls before. One time I remember I threw my camera through my bedroom wall from the outside of the room. It was bad. I do not remember what had me so mad that day, but I was. I should have taken a picture of that, but unfortunately we have since moved out. Fortunately, I was able to cover up the hole before we moved out, so we got our deposit back. Stupid fucking sucker.
Out of it.
That's
Maybe
what
I'm
he gets for evicting
overreacting here. Humans have always been flawed creatures, so of course it's doomed to bleed into the construction of our society. But I just keep thinking back to those 30 useless minutes in that bank chair. And I simply don't believe it. You're not gonna convince me that a bank has always been incapable of giving people new debit cards. And also that it took 30 minutes to tell me something has changed. It really dawned on me when I watched the Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode
Great
Dennis
show.
Takes a Mental Health Day, where Dennis tries to have a normal, relaxing day, but is faced with inconveniences at every corner that spike his blood pressure. Highly recommend watching. The whole show is phenomenal, but that specific episode was so real and truly made me process things are getting less efficient.
There.
And it's not just in my head. First of all, like the episode addressed, everything needs a goddamn app now. The thermostat, air filters, light bulbs.
I needed to download an app to send mail. I shit you not. I sent a birthday gift to my friend in California. I went to the post office. I packaged it up. I handed it to the lady and said, "What do I owe you?" And she told me that I needed to download a fucking app so that I could mail something over to California. I needed to download the app, put in all the information that she could have used her eyes to see, to then pay through the app a fee so that I could then go to the post office and pay them to ship something to California. What corporate brain rot is this? I don't even fucking know. I don't know how I didn't account for apps in the corporate brain rot presentation, but I didn't. So let's see if I can find anything that I can attribute to this until I can find the time to make Corporate Brain Rot 2.0. Not 17, not 18, not 19, not 20, not 21. Still the best fucking joke in the world that nobody appreciated. Not 22, not 23, not 24, not 25, not 26, not 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Wait, where's 30? Where the fuck did 31 go? Oh, right. Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, no, I remember now. 31, 32. Nothing? Here we go. Close fucking enough. The customer is always stupid. The customer is always stupid. That is what we will attribute to the app situation bureaucracy is king. There it is. Bureaucracy is king. Bureaucracy and more oversight is the answer to every problem. Number 34. That is what Jaden experienced right there. The apps act as a form of oversight and control that is unnecessary. That's what it was.
Cat's a new automated litter box, and guess who now has a litter box app on her phone to get it to even turn on? I'm sick of the stupid apps. They don't make life easier no matter how many times these products try to convince me they do. The UI is always clunky and confusing.
It is. The user interface is also awful, but one second. I just need to confirm that is true because I don't want to believe it. I want to tell myself that is not true. Litter box app. Motherfucker, it exists. It's called Whiskers and Litter Robot. And the Whisker app, Litter Robot, control your litter. Wait, okay, so, it's only one thing. Oh, no. Petivity as well. Lilo Pets, Scoop Free, Pet Kit. I'm getting mad now. I'm getting upset. So let's move on.
Nothing is optimized. Companies act like you can part the Red Sea with their apps, when more often than not, I'm stuck trying to connect it to the device in the first place. When was the last time you bought a new anything and had it completely set up and working within 5 minutes of unboxing it? At this point, if my Wi-Fi goes out, every electronic in my house becomes a useless block of metal because none of it works on its own anymore. Everything needs Wi-Fi, an app, an account linked to my email, a subscription service, and on top of it all, they sell all the information I hand over against my will to random other companies so they can send me stupid junk mail. Also,
I was really worried that she wouldn't mention this when I first watched it through. I was surprised. Nobody seems to be talking about that anymore, and I'm glad she is still fighting the good fight on that particular topic.
So, when did unchecking the sign me up for online newsletters and discounts just not work anymore? Every single time I buy something online, I make sure to not sign up for the website's stupid email notifications. And what do I find fresh in my inbox when I wake up the next morning? Check out this month's wacky deals.
I have actually never had that happen to me before. But that's probably because I use the same 5 websites for everything. I use one website to pirate anime. I use one website to get all my obscure rare items, eBay. I use one website for, streaming through OBS and Restream and YouTube. I use the same 5 websites for everything. I do not online shop at all. I don't do it because I don't want to get into the hassle of doing so.
I have an electric car, right? One day, it just straight up refused to play music. After troubleshooting for 5 minutes, it turned out I needed to download a software update to my car. Even though the music worked perfectly normal before the update. Sure, fine, the future's now. But for some reason, the car couldn't find or connect to the Wi-Fi. So because of that, I get to experience LA traffic in pure silence. I spent thousands of dollars on a car just for it to randomly not be able to perform a task cars have been able to do for the past 70 years. I do like electric cars. They're better for the environment, and it's great not having to go to the gas station.
Very true.
But let's not pretend the car has to be a computer now. I got one of those modern tech cars that made the innovative choice to remove all the physical buttons and knobs.
Amateur move. Complete amateur move. Never buy into that junk.
And put every single basic feature into the car's giant touchscreen.
Every car I've ever owned was made before 2005, and I will continue to operate on that function unless I have it custom made if I ever become rich. And it will be custom made to work and operate like a car from before 2005.
Before getting it, I didn't think that would affect my experience too much. I thought, well, when I drive, I normally don't fiddle with the buttons all the time anyway, but now I have to deal with things like not being able to manually open the glove compartment because it has no latch.
Yeah, I'm confused at who the fuck? Like, that's not even brain rot. That is just outright stupidity and a blatant traffic hazard. Although I also have to wonder who actually keeps things in the glove compartment. I store 2 things in the glove compartment. 1, my papers. 2, my revolver. For legal reasons, that is satire. Oh, wrong window. Here you go.
Have to speak into the car microphone, open glove compartment. And every single time it opens the charging port. Didn't think about that one before buying. Also,
yeah, you didn't. I know you're not a company, but I think you might have accidentally bought into number 39, which we'll get into later.
when I do need to do something while driving, it feels way more unsafe than I initially realized. They didn't even build AC knobs, so to turn up the air, I have to essentially play on the car iPad while paying attention to oncoming traffic. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm neither an engineer or car specialist. But that feels stupid. Apparently, enough people started complaining about the lack of buttons in high-tech cars, so they started putting them back in, which now puts into question these experts making these decisions in the first place. What?
These experts were succumbed to number 39. Always invest in buzzwords. Which can be easily attributed to buying into whatever new flashy stupid thing comes up next. Frankly, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Either the engineers didn't, or the managers of the engineers didn't. All they knew was that digital touch frames were the future. People were getting rid of buttons because, and this is going to sound stupid and like a conspiracy theory, but buttons cost money. And that's just a fact. Have you ever broken a button on your phone and gone to replace it and they charged you minimum $70 to replace one tiny piece of plastic? Yeah, that's because they're paying like $40 or $50 for that tiny piece of plastic a piece because the people in charge of these companies back then made so much money they didn't think to properly negotiate the prices of what they were paying for. And anytime they tried to lower the prices, the manufacturers would just refuse because they knew they could make these companies pay out the ass. So they switched to just making digital buttons. And now the people in charge of the cars really thought about that themselves. They thought, all the other companies are doing this. Let's do this too. And so they did. And I'm not as sure on this one, but I'm pretty sure it might also have to be with the fact that they could directly charge you to fix the iPad in the car. Just for more money. Make it more difficult so you don't have to go to an independent mechanic, and so you go to their dealership mechanic instead, so they can charge you a fortune for it. But again, that's just a theory. I don't work at the car company. Sorry, guys.
Do you mean thousands of people had to say using a giant iPad while driving is unsafe before they were like, you know what? These people might be onto something.
No, they don't care that it was unsafe. They don't give a fuck if it's unsafe. If anything, they like that better. Because then you'd break your car and have to come back and buy a new one. No. They invested in the mechanical equivalent of a buzzword, which was getting rid of buttons. And why they did it was because they wanted to. They're stupid. They succumbed to the corporate brain rot. You could call it irresponsible, insane, cringe. They don't care. These people have zero self-awareness. They are the company equivalent of that TikTok addicted middle schooler you know, who might be your niece or your nephew, or maybe you go to class with them if you're self-aware like I was. 70% of these morons have no idea what they're talking about, nor do they care.
A few weeks after I bought the car, I accidentally stepped on glass and needed to go to urgent care. So Jacob and I hopped in, and as we started driving down the neighborhood, the screen got covered with "Software update required." Thinking it was a simple fix, Jacob pulled off to the side of the road and clicked download, to which the car completely locked and became undrivable until it finished the download, which was 45 minutes. I ended up having to call an Uber to go to urgent care, despite owning a fully functioning car. Lesson learned, I suppose. They got me again. Also, I don't...
You know, I forgot about this part of the video, but I want to... One second. Just give me...
Dr. Ch-
Give me just one moment of your time, if you will.
recalculate the new thruster data and relay it to Blue Oyster Cult immediately in Stanfield.
Okay, roger that, Doctor. Fuck!
What's wrong?
Seriously, auto-updating now? General, I won't be able to calculate the right data for the satellite for 49 minutes.
How long till impact?
11 minutes and 44 seconds.
Fuck Microsoft!
Okay.
Fuck!
Alright.
Yeah, it's that. It is quite literally just that. That is what is happening here. Microsoft, fun fact about that scene, after that aired, Microsoft went back on the forced automatic updates. Thank God, right? But not a lot of other companies are having trouble accepting that.
I don't know how a car can download a software update on the side of the road and not in my own goddamn garage. It all just feels so dumb. Nothing feels like it's checked to make sure the customer has a half-decent...
Speaking of printers, I actually had a great idea for a printer commercial for a printing company. Unfortunately, I need at least $40 million to start one to manufacture, to build factories for actual manufacturing, because I can't build these things by hand, nor do I have the time nor capital to learn myself. But it simply runs like this. It opens up. It's me in a blank white room next to a printer. I list a common problem printers have, like running out of ink, but you have to buy your ink from a specific retailer, or it won't connect through wirelessly, and it doesn't have a manual plug-in option, or you run out of fucking magenta when you're printing a black and white piece of paper, but it refuses to work. I state, we don't have that problem. I press the print button, out prints a piece of paper in 5 seconds flat, and I hold it up, and it says, it just works. And that's the ad. And printers have so many problems, I could run that variations of that ad for 2 whole years at minimal cost. Just make a simple functioning printer that has simple troubleshooting issues and none of this high-tech buzzword bullshit. Unfortunately, you need a lot of money to make a printer, apparently. So I can't do that, but if anybody wants to invest, please hit me the fuck up. I have so many ideas for that ad.
User experience anymore because companies think slapping an app together makes something high-tech enough to get away with slop. And on top of it all, everything is a subscription service. Why can't I
1 second. Oh, wrong one. Sorry, wrong. Holy shit. Okay, here we go. Right window. Okay, let's go.
simply buy my stupid computer car and have it come with the tech that's already built into it? Subscribe to be able to connect to the internet. Subscribe to enable auto steering. For a while, companies were thinking about turning the seat warmers into a subscription. The heating coil is already in the car that I bought. Just leave us alone. Imagine pitching to someone 15 years ago, "Oh yeah, the car you bought? Yeah, it's all yours. But you have to pay money every month to use the windshield wipers." It's become so common for us to buy products and not even actually own them, and you need to pay money every month to keep using them. And they're bad. Business.
Yep. That is the problem. That is quite literally the problem. Also, what she's describing right now is number 12. Business viability relies on forcing customers to keep paying subscriptions. Brought to you by every chain gym ever and Tinder. So, yeah, that's the problem now, but that wasn't even enough for Microsoft when they managed to keep that working. There is so much here. I probably should have just made this a scripted React video, just with all the shit we need to go into for this, and I'm very sorry for that. I wanted to get this out as quickly as possible because I was so excited.
I've always prioritized profit. That's never changed. I'm not upset about that. But at least in the past, they had to, in good faith, offer something that actually did the shit it was advertised to do.
Yeah, it did. I'm making a massive video right now, several hours long. And I had to start from scratch. 20% in. I had to start all the way over, more than that actually, more like 30. I had to start all the way from scratch because the app that I downloaded that was supposedly free kept crashing. Which is fine, and it's a shitty free app. But the best part is that if I had paid them a subscription, it would have started working again. I want Adobe. I want to pirate Adobe again, but I can't figure out how to do that. Can somebody tell me that this isn't corporate brain rot related? This is just me simply complaining.
Now they just go, oh damn, we can give less and charge more? Hell yeah, brother, lock the cold out the fridges. The other day...
Exactly. So you're telling me you were capable of me running a video for that long and editing a video of that length. In fact, you let me do it for 2 straight days before you started crashing. And now you are withholding all of that progress behind a paywall. It was possible. And it's not like I was using your website. It was an application that stored all the data information on my computer. You could have done this, but you chose not to. Best part is I could even open it. I could open the whole video on the software. I could play the whole video. Presumably. I wasn't going to sit there for X amount of hours and wait. But it was when I started zooming in that it would crash.
I wanted to get a new router.
1 zoom, fine. 2 zoom, fine. 3 zoom, fine. 4 zoom, crash. So I broke it up into chunks and exported it so that I could work it out in smaller chunks. Take a lot more time, but it would salvage the project. It made it fucking worse. I cut it from X amount of hours to half that. Less than, actually. By a few minutes. And then I zoom in. Zoom in once, fine. Zoom in twice, fine. Zoom in 3 times, fine. Zoom in 4, crash. Okay. Cut that in half too. Now it's barely over an hour long. Zoom in once, fine. Zoom in twice, fine. Zoom in 3 times, crash. It got worse. How the fuck did it get worse? Why? How? Actually, you know what? I know somebody who can say this better than me. Hold on 1 second. Please hold. How the fuck did it get worse? 1 second. And albums, audio gifts. Here we go. And oh, you're on mute for some reason. Hold on, let's try this again.
Why? How?
Thank you, Wes. That was Wes from West Side Live. Let's continue.
For my office. Jacob and I headed over to our internet provider store, and I said, hello, can I buy a router? Oh, we don't actually sell routers here. You need to go online and ask customer service to send you one. As I was processing this, Jacob decided they wanted to get a phone upgrade. Excuse me, could I actually buy this phone? Yeah, we don't have those in stock here. You can buy it, but it'll have to be shipped to your house. We went to the internet and phone store and left with no internet and no phone. What are the employees being paid to do at that point? What's the point?
Don't ruin this for them. These are one of the few people that still have a good job left. But no, that is stupid and frustrating, and I probably could attribute that to a corporate brain rot if I wanted to, but I don't think I have that. I don't fucking have that, actually. Maybe pretending to care is more important than caring. Because they're pretending to be important enough to have retail locations, but they don't actually have any retail there. They're just there basically as paid promotional advertisements and whatever the fuck they feel like storing and stocking, even though they're not actually selling anything there. You could possibly call it that, but again, that's just stretching a little bit.
In any of it, I get that a lot of shopping has shifted to online, but I really miss simply having the option to go to the store. They're becoming empty husks with a logo on top. Also, excuse me, but I need to ask customer service to buy a router? Just let me exchange my money for the item that you very obviously sell.
Yeah, that actually confused me too for a bit. Again, I rarely ever buy anything, so I never encountered this, but I thought customer support was so that you couldn't give people refunds. I thought that was why they made customer support so terrible. And that makes sense. It's evil and stupid, but it makes sense at least. But you're telling me that you are now forcing people to go through your nightmare, awful customer support so that they can give you their fucking money. Huh? How? Why? Why? How is that supposed to fucking work? Routers aren't cheap. At least last I fucking checked. Router prices. They're $400 fucking dollars. $800. Oh God. Forgive me, I'm sick. I shouldn't be straining my voice this much. Here's one for $1,000. Let's look at Best Buy. $200, $160, $350, $300, $800, and these are with the Christmas sales on. $600, $1,000 fucking dollars from a company I've never even heard of. And $900, $500, $530, $239, $180, $203.99, $500 again. Oh, here we go. We finally found one that wasn't in the triple digits. $95.90. And you're forcing these people to go through customer service to give you hundreds of fucking dollars. Good fucking Lord. That is corporate brain rot if I have ever seen it.
Time I'm told I need to contact customer service, I consider it a lost battle.
Yep.
Nothing exists in this world that is worth descending the trenches that is a customer service phone call.
Unfortunately, I'm strong enough to handle that, even if it is frustrating. I managed to get Avast to give me a $270 refund. That is how dedicated I am to maintaining my money.
Companies have put it together that if they make everything inconvenient and frustrating, set up enough cryptic hoops to make people jump through, waste as much time as possible, people will just give up.
It's true. And you know what corporate brain rot this is? We mentioned it earlier. Say it out loud if you remember it. Business viability relies on forcing customers to keep paying subscription. Also known as number 12 of corporate brain rot. That is what it is. It is business viability relies on making it as difficult as possible for people to get what they want, or which is to cancel or get a refund. That's it. That's all it is to these people. You must remember that these people, they're not people, they're not humans like you and me. They are mindless, brain-rattled parasites infected by the lizard people or evil aliens from outer space. You just have to stop. And I'm not saying take it out on customer service. Unless the customer service agent is specifically being a fucktard about it, do not be an asshole to them. But they don't make it easy, because surprisingly, once you start being an aggressive asshole, the problem immediately disappears. I had a friend who had an issue with PayPal. He got rejected for a $400 US dollars, so that's like 700 my people dollars, refund. And he found out the reason he was rejected was because the people he filed a complaint with had a receipt that could have been no more than $40. But because of that, they got to keep a $400 deposit. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds really fucking stupid. So he asked, show me the fucking receipt. How the hell does a $40 Uber ride account to keeping $400? But every time he kept saying, I want an appeal, give me a fucking appeal, because this is stupid. The lady always rejected him, so he hung up on her. Called again. This time, he wasn't well-spoken, he wasn't polite, he was yelling and aggressive out of the gate, and they accelerated his issue to an appeals team. As soon as I heard that story, I was blackpilled from customer service entirely. I will still try to be polite to you if I can, but the moment I start getting an answer I don't believe, that I think you're trying to screw me over, I am capable of winning that fight. And I will win that fucking fight. Because I take my money very seriously. I grew up dead fucking poor. Do not fuck with me when it comes to money, especially if I'm being screwed over and out of it. I make a bad purchase decision, fine. I lose a little bit of money in a bad investment, fine. You charge me $270 for a service I haven't used in a year with zero warning and pull me into overdraft? Do not test me.
And they don't have to deal with anything. It's sick. Once I needed to call a plumber, but was only allowed to go through a very specific company for the service. So I called in, sat on hold for 40 minutes, as to be expected.
Okay, so that is an interesting corporate brain rot there, that you're only allowed to use a specific service. Because I don't know if this is a homeowners association level of brain rot, or if this is a rental corporate brain rot. I don't know which it is, and therefore, I can't label it to something specifically, nor comment on it, other than calling it fucking stupid.
And finally got connected to someone. Hello, what can I help you with today? Hi, I was calling to make a service appointment. Alright, sounds good. I'm gonna check our calendar and call back with our availabilities. Oh, okay. Thank you. And so I waited for 2 days. And she never called me back. So, of course, I call back.
I wonder if he ever heard back from the appeals team.
Sit on hold for another 40 minutes and try again. Hello, what can I help you with today? Hi, I'm calling to make a service appointment. I called before, but no one called me back, so I wanted to follow up on that. Okay, let me check. We're available in a month at 7 a.m. Oh, okay. Are there no other times available? Nope. Alright, I can do in a month at 7 a.m. Thank you very much. Awesome. Exactly what I wanted. A month comes and goes, and the day before the appointment, I get a call from the plumbing company. Hello, I'm calling to let you know the person that was scheduled to do your service appointment is sick and will have to cancel it.
I would not have accepted this. I would not have. I don't want to be mean to her specifically, but the company made you a promise to be there at that time, and they know that they are the only company you are allowed to go through, which is why they are exploiting you and screwing you over. I would not accept that. You told me you would be here today or tomorrow at X amount of time, and you screw me over by telling me, oh, actually, he can't make it. Then reschedule something else, because you told me you would be here at this time. I don't care if the clerk lady needs to come there personally to fix it. Personally, I would have just done the work myself, but I'm handy that way. But no. You tell me you're going to be somewhere at some time, and you're my only option, and you made me wait a month? No. Just simple as that.
Okay, when's the next available appointment? In 2 weeks?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. At this point...
Jaden is too polite. She is. She needs a little more backbone to her. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jaden. They're taking advantage of you.
I was fuming, right? How hard could it be to get a very specific company to provide a service they forced me to use them for? Well, get this. I woke up the next morning at 10 a.m. because I didn't have to wake up early anymore, looked at my phone, and saw a single missed call from, of course, the plumbing company. Hello, the plumber arrived at the location this morning at 6 a.m., but left because no one was home. Please call back to reschedule. Thank you.
So you showed up an hour early when you said he couldn't make it. And now you're blaming her and telling her that she needs to reschedule her appointment. I would have fucking screamed. I would have lost my absolute shit. And this is back in the days where I was a shy introvert. I would have lost it on her. I know it's a voicemail, but no, I would have called up just to scream at them. Because what the hell is the matter with you people? That is blatant mismanagement. That's not even taking advantage of somebody anymore. That is just mismanagement at its finest. Like, can I find anything on this? The customer is always stupid, number 33. That's the only thing I can think of right now. I'm sorry, Jaden. Gotta get good.
I can't even write into words what I was feeling that moment, because if I did, this would be the last video of my career.
Yep. No, I would have used some slurs myself. I would have. I feel like Asmongold right now, just saying true, but in more complex and wasting people's time with how I'm saying it.
Single service appointment is all I ask. For my sink that is dissolving at this point. Also, we're completely brushing over the fact they arrived an hour early for the canceled appointment, so I would have missed it anyway. And
Yep. That is exactly what happened right there. In fact, I guarantee... No, I don't guarantee. I'm not going to guarantee this. But I think that they did that on purpose. I don't think they were actually available that day. I think somebody who with a more lucrative more lucrative job showed up, and they didn't want to cancel your appointments thinking you might go somewhere else or do it yourself. So I think they screwed with you just to make sure that they canceled the appointment, hoping you would sleep in. And just in case you were awake at that time, they showed up an hour. They pretended to show up an hour early. And they FedExed you. That's what they did.
just like that, it was all back at square one. And you know what? I gave up. Congratulations, plumbing company. You won. The trophy? My sink is broken. I
Yep.
was justifiably feeling upset, so I wanted to go out and get myself those Pillsbury Halloween cookies with the pumpkins and ghosts on them because it was the season. I looked online to see if the grocery store had them, and the website said, in stock, confirmed in the past hour.
Come on, we all know you're talking about Walmart.
So I got dressed, drove over, and lo and behold, the store had 0 Halloween cookies. I did the same charade 2 more times until I just went home and cried. What's the point anymore? Really, my car doesn't work, the stores don't work, the litter box needs Wi-Fi. I'm just so tired.
I'm
We're
sorry,
doomed
Jaden.
to be wrung of every single dollar we have, cursed to scroll endlessly on social media because it's evil now.
I know, and I'm trying so hard to cut down my screen time too, but unfortunately, content creation requires so much screen time. My job requires screen time. My only coping mechanism, anime, requires screen time. It's awful. I mentioned it earlier, but the doom scrolling has gotten so bad I've made it to Facebook. I need help, man. We all need help. I'm so sorry you're going through this, Jaden. You deserve better.
It's nothing good anymore. We're being left behind over here, and no one can do anything about it cares.
But speaking of good, Jaden's animations from Jaden Animations is fucking supreme. And her jokes are top tier. If I wasn't on the verge of sympathetic tears, I would be laughing my ass off. But the world sucks, unfortunately.
I don't want to get too doomer in the silly animated YouTube video. Sorry, maybe a bit of reality started to seep in there between the funny little stories. Quickly, I'm going to talk about things that do spark joy in my life. There's been an influx of people going back to old tech as a way to step out of the overwhelming and predatory modern innovation era.
Yeah, like me and my sister, we are currently nuzlocking the original Pokemon games on the Game Boys, and I'm having a blast. I'm 45 hours in, and I'm only on my second gym badge. Those games were hell. Those games are fucking hell.
And I am also on that boat. A while back, I started playing on my old 3DS, and
Oh yeah, I remember. I started playing on my DS too a little bit. I really loved that. It was so simple. Oh, what was I? I was playing Transformers Decepticons, I believe. God, I missed that game.
Something about using a classic handheld rewires my brain in the best way. Being all bundled up with your DS, no second monitor content, maybe some snacks. It feels like my mind gets to heal from the constant rot, cleansed from the addicting flashing colors and stimuli of current media. Another way I heal from the evils is by seeing all of my best friends. Truly going out and being with people in real life is the medicine that heals all. I'm not joking. No matter
I know, I'm seeing Poppy tomorrow. I'm so fucking excited to see him.
No matter how much the world breaks me down, a good hangout with friends to vent and blow off steam really does take the edge off. And getting to turn annoying moments that piss you off into something to share with your friends as a funny story is a great way to laugh it off and just move on. I'm sure many other people have their own ways to break free from the ever-looming capitalist clutches, but overall, I've just been trying to go back to basics, depend on things less, not constantly overwhelm my senses. I think it's unfortunate that a lot of us have gotten to the point where we need to police ourselves in what we consume because everything is trying to be the most addictive little parasite ever created by humans with no empathy. But
I miss the creator of Flappy Bird. I do, I miss him. Can we get him back? Please? We need a good guy like him now. We do.
Until the pendulum eventually swings back the other way, it is possible to break out of the bubble. And if you've been feeling similarly to me, I recommend giving it a try. In the meantime, even though everything feels like a constant mess, I suppose it does make for funny stories to share. I didn't realize I scripted 2 different complaining videos in a row. I'm really sorry about that. I didn't mean to, and it comes across really negative. But the next video is very, very, very positive. I'm really excited for you guys to see that one. I've been excited about that one for a long time. Thanks for watching. I'm done complaining for a while. It's all out of my system now.
Jaden, I will look forward to watching that video someday. But right now, we have other things to consume and talk about. So let's get into that. Let's see. We still have a couple of hours left before I need to log off today to avoid getting overconsumed by screens again. So let's see. We got 2 videos on Horimiya. I didn't realize that Horimiya was back and around in 2012. I only watched the 2021 version and its sequel series. But we do have a video by Chibi Reviews. I watched him last week. I really liked his stuff, so I like to do that, but I also have all these to work on the list too. Does anybody have any preferences? Not seeing anything, so let's go with... How? Oh yeah, I still need to fucking finish that. Great. Kanade! Yeah, I need something to cheer me up.
Come on, bro.
How did you see? Oh,
For
shippers.
fuck's sakes, YouTube. What did you do? Where is it? What the fuck is wrong with you, YouTube?
Yeah, let's go! Let's go! Be careful, okay?
Easy peasy.
Potion ready? Potion, okay! Okay, let's go.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Kanade is so fucking cute, man.
これ飲めばいい? Drink potion?
She
Yeah,
puts a
drink
smile.
potion,
She
drink
always
potion.
puts a smile on my face.
Kanade pump. Okay.
Easy.
Easy, we go in.
We go in. What the heck is this? Hey yo! Bro! Stop! Stop it! Hey yo!
Kanade. Use go.
What? Doko!
Her English is great.
むずっこれ
Later.
She's gonna die, isn't she?
これは
Kanade.
Oh no, she's not gonna die? Okay.
Not
That's good.
this way.
Kanade.
Wow. Whee. Whee. Ah. Whee. Whee. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, good. She didn't die.
What? What? Enda wanda. Do you think? Oh! Yeah! Whee!
Okay, now fly.
I believe I can fly!
Oh, that world is really impressive.
Relax, you guys. Take a deep breath. Why are you guys so mad? Which of the following is correct?
I watched this
Oh.
full stream, start to
Sun.
finish.
Sun.
It was a great
The
stream.
Earth. It's of course that the Earth is the Earth is main axis. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Because Canada is the main axis for the Sekai. And Canada is in the Earth, and the Earth is main axis. Let's go.
Her English was so good in that stream. I forgot she didn't speak English.
Does vaccination really cause autism? What is autism?
Me!
Yes.
I'm autism.
Huh? Okay.
Okay. Great video.
Oh dear.
Wait. Oh, I meant to take this off my list. Yeah, I don't want to watch this anymore. What else do we got going on here? Let's go into... Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's do the new Chibi video.
What's this? Shueisha, Kodansha, Shogakukan, Katakawa win copyright suit against Cloudflare. The Tokyo District Court has ruled on Wednesday that American internet infrastructure company Cloudflare is liable for damages in a copyright infringement lawsuit filed by Japanese publishers Shueisha, Kodansha, Shogakukan, and Katakawa in
I vaguely remember hearing about Cloudflare, but I don't remember what it is. Let's take a look. I don't remember what Cloudflare is, but I remember seeing them around somewhere.
2022. The ruling recognized about 3.6 billion yen, about $24 million, in damages to the four publishers. But since the publishers only claimed a portion of the damages suffered was due to Cloudflare, Cloudflare was ordered to pay a total amount of 500 million yen, about $3.3 million. The four publishers issued a joint statement on Wednesday to announce the court's ruling and stated that the ruling will lead to the prevention of misuse of CDN content delivery network services such as Cloudflare. The joint statement added that the companies will continue to protect the rights and works of creators and will continue to take firm action against copyright infringement. The publishers emphasized their belief that CDN services are beneficial when used for stable and efficient delivery of legitimate content to users. The lawsuit filed in 2022 alleged that Cloudflare distributes data from manga piracy sites that infringe on publishers' copyrights, and it sought both an injunction and about 460 million yen, about 4 million at the time, a compensation for damages. Kodansha then alleged in the lawsuit that Cloudflare's policy of only requiring an email address to register for free allows piracy sites to hide their identity, and that Cloudflare has allowed multiple piracy sites collecting advertising revenue to operate. The court's ruling on Wednesday...
Is he growing a mustache? Sorry, I'm trying to find something I can talk about here, but he talks almost as fast as I do. And I didn't want to cut the guy off because the guy was cooking. But honestly, I don't really understand this. Only requiring an email address to register for free allows... I'm sorry, I don't know what Cloudflare is. I don't fucking understand. Great, we got a bot in chat. Fantastic. Let's continue.
Emphasize Cloudflare's liability by failing to implement stricter identity verification procedures. Ooh, okay, we'll talk about this in just a second. In past
Looking
reports
forward
by
to it.
Asahi Shimbun newspaper and the Kyoto News Service, their sources claim that Cloudflare has contracts with major piracy sites to distribute data from servers within Japan, even though the piracy sites' administrators are located overseas. The sites allegedly distributed over 4,000 titles, including such popular ones as One Piece, Attack on Titan, and Kingdom, and received over 300 million accesses a month.
Well, I mean, let's do some fucking math here. Let's bring up a calculator. So we got 4,000 titles. Are you fucking kidding me? There we go. And oh my bad. That's 300 million. 300 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros. No, we need one more. There we go. 300 million divided by 4,000. So if 75,000 people a piece decide that your content, your business model, what you make, what you put out isn't working for them. A month. I mean, can you disagree? If that many people hate Crunchyroll, maybe, just maybe, sign contracts with other people. I'm shitting, of course. I mean, nothing's ever gonna stop them. I mean, Cloudflare is a little unfair. I mean, you should be suing the sites individually. Or at least that's what I think. I'm not in this business, at least. And I have no intention of making an actual video out of this reaction here. I don't have nearly enough to say to make my opinion valid enough for a video. But I don't fucking know, man. I'm tired already and sick. And I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about.
And this is just background information, what's happened over the year with Cloudflare and different things like that. So there's a lot to really take away from what I just read, and so let me simplify it and break it down in the simplest way possible. So these 4 Japanese companies that pretty much have a monopoly over anime and manga in Japan, or what...
Yeah, they do. They do. I want more diversity. I want some DEI and who gets anime rights.
Is eventually turned into an anime, they went after Cloudflare. You might recognize Cloudflare because a few days ago, on the 18th, there was a huge chunk of the internet that went offline worldwide. I even made a video talking about it a few days. You might remember me talking about how it's concerning that one company, if they were to theoretically have any internal issues or there's bad actors or whatever, a lot of the internet could just disappear in a moment. For instance, you would not be able to access social media, figure out recent news.
Oh, that's what happened. Oh, a website that I used went down just in the middle of me accessing it. I refreshed the page and it was gone, and I didn't understand what was going on. That must be where I know Cloudflare from. Okay.
Access your favorite sites, you get the point. It was a pretty concerning thing. I even outlined it's kind of scary that the internet is so reliant on just like one company to this extreme that like if something was to happen to them, you would not be able to really access the internet anymore, or at least a big chunk of it. And
yeah, well, does anybody know what happened to cause that outage? I'd very much like to know so I could comment on this, because I actually might be able to make a video out of this.
I was concerned about that. So, if you recognize Cloudflare, it's because of that. That they are a massive a company that pretty much without them operating right now at the very least, because there's really not big competitors against them, the internet doesn't function anymore. That's just to simplify it to the simplest degree. Obviously, I don't know all the intricacies of what Cloudflare does. I don't work for them. I haven't looked at every single little thing they have done or what they do with their services. All I do know, though, is without them and offering their systems and stuff, websites wouldn't be able to operate for the most part.
Yep.
Now, with that being said, what these 4 Japanese companies outline here is that Cloudflare is in the wrong for hosting these pirate sites. For instance, like some of the biggest piracy sites for anime and manga, they are at fault for having these sites be able to use Cloudflare systems, and so they need to pay damages. Now,
I disagree with that. I do. I disagree with that idea. if your business model is providing a service, a moral or legally neutral service, if all you're doing is allowing people to put up a website, they should be allowed to put up a website for whatever they want. If that website is operating under illegal activity and they know it, go good on them. But I do think that they should have to prove that they know that they provably know that they're operating or providing service to a criminal. And even then, I'm on that. Good. But again, that's just my feelings on it. Frankly, I don't think that that's a good business model to provide, or something fucking like that. I don't know. I'm cooked, man. I'm fucking cooked. I might need to call it after this video. I planned on going till 9, but we're not even an hour in, and I'm losing my fucking mind here.
This one is a very interesting place because this is more or less saying that if a Cloudflare can be punished for something like this means that ISPs, like internet service providers, should also be punished for, let's say, copyrighted content or whatever.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, fucking yes. He's right. He's 100% right.
That's more or less what this kind of gets into, is that if a internet service provider allows you to get on sites that have copyrighted content, they are liable. That's kind of what it feels like way this conversation's going, that if Cloudflare is liable for this situation, the next step is also to go after ISPs. That's what it feels like. And I feel like that's kind of concerning, because at the end of the day, it's not necessarily the ISPs, and I don't necessarily know the full extent of this entire lawsuit, because I obviously haven't read the records, but if that is legit after reading this what it's about, I think it's kind of a little bit too far, honestly, to blame Cloudflare.
It is. It is basic and standard overreaching. They are providing a service. Somebody paid, signed up for, and presumably paid for said service. Unless you can prove that they know that their service is being used to break the law, to infringe on copyright systems, you should not be allowed to do that. And even then, it's kind of fucked. That's like blaming Shaw for you accessing something I'm not allowed to say on stream, because I could get in a lot of trouble for that. But no, unless you can blatantly prove it and give a good reason for why they should be punished for providing a standard neutral service. It's not like they're hosting or distributing illegal materials. They're just a platform through which somebody is providing or building upon their shop. That's like suing a landowner because somebody took up shop on said land or rented said land to distribute guns illegally. You own this acre. You rented this liquor to somebody. You didn't check in to see what they were doing on said property. You're the problem.
Cloudflare for just allowing their services to anyone that registers with their actual service. So Kodansha is more or less upset that it only requires an email to access Cloudflare services, and for these piracy sites to operate like they do. And I think in general, I can understand why they're upset about that, but once again, Cloudflare is just offering a service to be able to have the internet access to them. That's pretty much kind of about it, from my understanding. And anything else, it's really out of their hands. But once again, I could be entirely wrong about this situation. But I do think, though, that this leads kind of into a scary reality that maybe ISPs could be also punished for copyright on the internet and stuff, which I think is kind of a little bit step too far. I think that's kind of weird. I feel like just go after the sites and the people that run the sites instead of, let's say, Cloudflare or ISPs. Exactly. But who do I know? Obviously, I'm not a part of copyright law or anything like that. So let's talk about piracy for a second, because I think this is a very important topic to actually discuss, and why piracy even exists to begin with. Obviously, one of the big fundamental reasons why piracy exists is because of a service issue. A lot of people don't want to accept this, especially big corporations, but the reason why sometimes things are pirated is either A, your service is very shit, or it's impossible to get your content legally. For instance, there's a lot of titles from Japan that have never been localized or brought over to different parts of the world.
Very true. That's one of the things I was building upon earlier is Crunchyroll. A lot of people, including myself, hate Crunchyroll. They hate them as a company. They hate them as a service. So none of us want to use Crunchyroll. I personally use WCoStream. Is it a piracy site? I actually don't fucking know. Do I care? Not even a little bit. In fact, I will link WCoStream to all of you right now because that is how I feel about it. I recommend this website to everyone I know. And I will continue to do so because I am that happy with them as a product. 1 second, let me just confirm that link will work. Okay, well, there's a difference between the link you get as a paid user and the link that you receive as a standard guest. So I was just making sure that the modification I made to said link to remove the user access works. So there you go. I strongly recommend WCoStream. I'll also link it in the description if I do decide to make a video out of this. Is it piracy? Is it legal? Don't know. Don't care.
Since they are stuck in Japan, they have never been officially translated into English, Spanish, or whatever type of language. They have never been translated. They're strictly just in Japanese. And obviously, there is no legal way to obtain these series and read them. So, because of that, when you have these series translated by like a fan translation group, they're translating it because nobody else can really read this or support the series because you can't go to a store.
Protect the artistic integrity of those people. I love fan translations. In fact, I want more fan translations. And if people are going to get in trouble for doing fan translations, well, let's just say I have a crowbar in my shed. Never, ever take your anger out and your fucking pettiness over IP to the fans. Don't you fucking dare. I tolerate Nintendo. Actually, no, I don't. I haven't done business with Nintendo in fucking years. And I don't intend to go back to it unless some serious changes happens. But I don't blame Nintendo when there's somebody's doing something wrong. And when Nintendo does do something wrong and they're being a petty asshole, well, that's just the way they work. At least they're consistent with it. At least you can pretend to understand where they're coming from. But if somebody's making a fan translation, if somebody made a fan translation of a Nintendo book or video and they posted it online for free so that other people can understand what the fuck is going on because they couldn't have been bothered, that would be a new low for them, which it sounds crazy, but if you think about it from my perspective and how I'm viewing it, that is genuinely how I feel. Fan translations are sacred. People put in a lot of work to learn another language so that and are using that work to try and enrich the lives of other people. Now, if somebody went and they translated it and posted it illegally under the guise of a fake translation, I mean, yeah, that would be pretty shitty of them. But if you're not going to bother to translate the works yourself, don't get mad at anybody else for doing so. That's how I feel about it. Maybe I went on for a little too long about that. I probably overcomplicated it. Definitely stuttered way too fucking much, but those are my thoughts and feelings on it. And I will stand on that hill unless proven otherwise.
And pick this up. You can't order it online and read it in your language because it's not licensed in your country. So, in general, there is a lot of titles on pirate sites that are there because you can't find them anywhere else. You can't legally obtain them anywhere else.
That's actually a great point. And really relevant recent story would be Suisei Hoshimachi on Forbes magazine. In Forbes Japan, Suisei Hoshimachi was able to become the cover girl of that issue. And I fucking wanted that magazine. And I was even willing to buy it off of Amazon because apparently that was the only fucking place you could get it. But even then, and by the way, context, I hate Amazon. I never use Amazon. But they still wouldn't fucking let me. They wouldn't let me buy it from Amazon because they wasn't available in Canada. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? You wouldn't ship to Canada? So that issue of that magazine was only available in fucking Japan. Or maybe it was available in America and they're just discriminating against Canadians like HoloLive does with their shop. Apparently Shop Pay is not available in Canada for some reason. For the reason of which they won't tell me. But regardless, I was pissed. But I accepted it. There was nothing I could do to change it. Until a week ago, where I saw a copy on eBay. And I was thinking, scalpers, huh? Thank fucking God. And I bought it immediately, and it showed up 2 days ago. It was that easy. Did I have to pay a surcharge? Fuck yeah, it's a scalper. But that scalper provided a sacred service, for which I will always be grateful. I'm now in the market for a picture frame to put that magazine in. Scalpers were more reasonable and helpful to me than the actual company of Forbes magazine. By the way, why the fuck is Forbes magazine selling their magazines through Amazon? They're such a massive international conglomerate that they really, you guys couldn't bother to ship? You couldn't be bothered? You couldn't go through FedEx and charge me a shipping fee? Or UPS? Air Canada? Anything? No? Fuck you too.
So that is one thing that a lot of these piracy sites have when it comes to either anime or manga, especially old stuff, is because they're just not licensed. And this in general I think is a problem, because if piracy sites are completely taken down, like entirely, there's a lot of content that gets lost. There's a lot of things that just will end up in the wind and you'll never be able to see again, because obviously taking down an entire site when there's no legal way to obtain these said materials, I think is kind of wrong. I understand, like, these copyright holders, going after sites if they're, like, for instance, if One Piece is on there or whatever, makes sense. They're well within their right to do that. But when it's not a licensed material, I think that is a step too far. That is my personal opinion on the...
No, he's right on that. And, sorry, just 1 second. I want to look up what the fuck Kingdom is. Because I've never heard of it. Really? 6 seasons? 2012? I have never heard of this before. Okay, question answered.
Subject at hand. But overall, I have to say, this is very fascinating that these 4 companies went after Cloudflare. It feels kind of a little bit perfectly timed, if you want my personal opinion. I mean, literally a few days ago, you had them go down as a service, like Cloudflare did. And a day later, you can see the date here, that they lost a lawsuit against these 4 companies. Like, Cloudflare lost a lawsuit. And I'm just like, yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird timing. It feels related, but obviously it's not. At this time, from my understanding, a big, massive piracy sites are still operational. Cloudflare still offers their service to them. So I feel like this issue here with the payment and stuff, I don't think that Cloudflare is really caring too much about this, if you want my personal opinion, because at the end of the day, their market cap is massive. They have over 60 billion market cap. They're growing exponentially by the year, as you can see here. I feel like a few $1 million is not really much to them, honestly. It might be a little bit of a headache in the region, but overall, I feel like it's not really that much. But I still think, though, this is fascinating, because this sets up a reality to where it's not just Cloudflare and hosting services to like different sites that might have copyrighted material, but this might get into the avenue of blaming ISPs as well, internet service providers, for allowing you to even access sites that have copyrighted material. That's what this kind of gets into. But yeah, I don't know. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below, how you feel about this. Do you think this is a bad or a good thing? Be honest in the comments below. I love you guys. Be safe, stay healthy.
No, this guy is great. I like his stuff. Let me link him to you all down here. Fantastic. And I'm really curious to see about, actually, no, is there going to be spoilers? Oh, is that My Hero Academia? Yeah, I'm still mad at them for having another season. I mean, I tried really, really hard to muscle my way through season 7. But the animation was non-existent there. I mean, One Frame Man had better animation for 90% of every episode. So many... When did My Hero Academia come out? When did it? My Hero Academia animated series... It's been a fucking decade. An entire decade of building up to the Great War. And the war had less frames than One Frame Man did in season 2. Are you kidding me? The giant army looks like ants. What's his fucking name? The big fire guy moves like Invincible when he's flying. The only thing that's well animated is the villain. What was his name again? No. Come on, where is he? No. Great. Thank you, Google. Very helpful with the fucking cast list there. You got Tenya Ida up before the main villain of the show. Truly, the one guy nobody ever thinks about. So I gave up. I was like, fine, whatever. The story's over. We all know how it ends. I couldn't do it. I quit on episode 6. It was hurting my head and my heart to watch it. Which is sad because I really liked that show so much. I loved that anime. And then, one day, like in November or something, I log on to WCoStream, and in the What's New section is Season 8, Episode 1 for My Hero Academia. Where the fuck did that come from? I didn't realize there was anywhere left to fucking go! I crashed out on it on Twitter for a little bit. But... Well, I'm about to go cough up a fucking lung, but thanks for keeping me company here. I appreciate anybody who comes in and watches. This has been Regnoy, also known as Young Streaming. Like, comment, subscribe. Definitely share me around if you actually enjoy watching me. That helps so fucking much. We made it to 10 followers on Twitch. Legendary numbers, truly. A number nobody has ever reached before. And I wish you all a good night. Tomorrow night, if I'm feeling up for it, if I'm feeling better, I will be starting streaming Uma Musume. I've been really getting into the anime hardcore lately. If not Uma Musume, maybe Abandoned Archive. I heard that's dropping tomorrow. That could be really fun to play together. But no, I feel now is the perfect time to get into it. The hype for the game is dying down. I'm really hyped from now that I've actually caved and started watching this show. It's been less than a week and I'm already on season 3. I might not have finished season 3. I haven't been enjoying that nearly as much as the first 2 seasons, but I definitely am going to move on to Cinderella Grey. And yeah. So either Uma Musume or Abandoned Archive happening tomorrow. If not happening, just rest peacefully knowing it's because I'm dying in bed and not because I've forsaken all of you.